morning and welcome to Coffee and Card round 24 week 3. This is actually a pre-record video from Julie here at the Paper Haven, and I'm going to share with you how to make this card using the Jingle 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 stamp set. I have done a paper piecing technique for this card. It's a little bit of fussy cutting for you, but I know I've got some ladies who love it and some not so much. So we're going to have a go, see how we get on. So in our kits this morning, we have a garden green card base, a piece of pool party for the background, a piece of basic white to go there, and then you should have a little bit of scrap, which is just for the Santa hat. You should have plenty for that. All right, okay, you do need your papers for this one, and I have chosen to use this stripy one. Now, I have actually already stamped it. That was quite by accident. So I might not even stamp that again. Oh, look, I've got all ink on my thing. So yeah, what I've done is I've stamped the word jingle. So just the outer stamp in basic grey, and I've stamped it onto the striped paper. This is my favourite paper. It's got the spots on the back. We are going to use this next week for next week's card as well. So what I'm going to do is I thought I won't waste paper and re-stamp that. So let's cut that out. And then I've got my jingle. I've got my jingle on there. Now it is quite tricky to cut out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut just to the outer edge of the grey lettering. And I just think this is quite a nice technique, and it's another way to show you how to do it. Now, this is a little bit trickier when you go in and snip these, but this is where our Stampin' Up paper snips come into their own. So I'm just going to fold that back and then snip that off like that. Yeah? Can you see that? So I'm going to cut down at the other side, fold it back, and snip. And then we have our E there. So we can start to build our word. Now the L is quite easy, really. That's not too troublesome. It's just lots of straight lines. So that one was quite easy. Yep. And then the G is a little bit trickier because it's curved. So I'm just trying really carefully. Please, please, please be careful doing this. I don't want reports of injuries. There we go. The N is fairly, I think the G is probably the hardest one actually. The N's fairly straightforward. So I do all the sides, and then that one's a bit short, and then go in here like that. Obviously the eye's very easy to do. Okay, and there we have our jingle. All right. So what I'm going to do is, I like to use my scissors, as you know, to arrange things. So I'm going to see where I want that. Probably quite central. But I'm going to stamp mine all the way. Okay, first. In basic grey. Now, actually, I'm thinking it might be easier to... Let's move that to one side. Let's do our background stamping. Okay. Let's have a break from the jingle. Okay, so I'm just going to get some scrap paper. And I'm going to grab the word jingle. And my garden green ink, wherever it's hiding. And I need a block. I find block H to be the best block for this set. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stamp the outline. So let me put this one here so you can see both. Oops. Oh! It dropped off my block. Right, so we're going to pretend that's not there. We're going to go on the other side. Okay. Yeah, make sure it's stuck on your block properly. Okay, so what I'm going to do, stamp jingle at the bottom there. I love how this looks, and I'm just going to move it over, stamp the J and then the E at that side like that. Okay, and then I'm going to move it over to sort of where the N is, like that. And like that. So it's exactly the same as like last week with the believe. This one I'm doing to the left. And then this one. You can do whatever you want. Do whatever order you want to. Yep. And then I'm going to do one more. I'm going to repeat and go back to the beginning now. Okay. So, yeah. So this is now in the centre. Like that. And like that. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come up to the top. Whoops, I just knocked my camera with my glasses. And stamp one in the middle there. Hope that's still on screen. And then this one here. And then to the left. And then the rest of them should be covered. There we go. We're going to ignore what's happening on the back. Right. Okay, let me give my hands a little wash because I've got a little bit of ink on them. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so we'll go back to our cut out words, letters. All right. So what I'm going to do is, I'm just looking at the one that I made before. Yeah. I'm going to glue these on, but first I want to just make sure that they're sort of in the right place. Come on, little letters. So I want to make sure that I've got the same space at either side. So I might want to move them over a little bit. Like that. All right, I'm happy with that. So very, very carefully, I'm going to take one off, add a little bit of glue. Please be careful because the glue can squirt out. And I'm just going to use the end of my, paper snips to pat that down. So the tiny little line of glue Just have a drink. There we go. And then I'm going to stamp all the way. With the basic grey. All the way with the basic grey. Like that. And while I have that ink pad open, I'm going to grab the Santa hat and the filler in for the Santa hat, if I can find it. Where are you? Oops. I just turned my light off by accident. So we need that scrap, remember. I'm going to stamp the Santa hat. You've got plenty of scrap there. So I've stamped the Santa hat. And then we have the little filler stamp, which looks like that. And we're going to stamp the real red. We just fill in the Santa hat with it, like that. Making sure I've got no ink on our fingers. We can cut this out. and then add a little bit of glue onto the back of it. And that's going to just go over the top of the J, like that. Like that. Like a little hat on the J. And then finally, we're going to glue this to our pool party. So it's quite nice. We've introduced a little bit of the pool party on this card. I'm conscious of pressing it down because I've probably got dirty fingers still. And then that's going to go over here like that. And there we have Coffee and Card Round 24 week 3. I had to think then. So that's week 3. I hope you've enjoyed that. Thank you for tuning in this morning. Would you like to see what next week's card is? We are going to get a little bit more technical now, because I've let you off with some fairly easy cards, but some techniques for this stamp set. So next week, we're going to bring in some twine. You know me, I love a bit of twine. And we're going to bring in some candy canes and a bit of pool party next week. So that's next week's card. I'll be back live next Tuesday, which is the 27th of September. And that is the closing date for Coffee and Card Round 25. So a week from today, it's the closing date for Coffee and Card Round 25. So please don't miss out on that, because it's a bumper coffee and card. So for now, I just want to say thank you, and I will see you next week. Thank you.